James Pierson is dead, shot 5 times while leaving his driveway on his way to work. 3 teenagers, his daughter Cheryl, her boyfriend Rob, and classmate Sean Pica, are now scrambling to hide their murder-for-hire plot. Do you think the police believed you at this point? That you didn't have anything to do with this?
Yes.
Who paid Sean?
Rob did.
After the killing?
Yes.
Cheryl and Rob found $400 in her father's safe, $600 short of what Pica demanded.
I told him he would get the rest of it as soon as everything calmed down.
And what did Sean say to you?
No problem. When you get the money, which I was glad, you know, you had all of these things going through your head as to how this conversation was going to go, and it couldn't have gone any easier. I didn't think we were going to get caught. Maybe that was the 17-year-old naive kid that I was. I didn't think that it was ever going to come back to us.
But it doesn't take police long to unravel the juvenile scheme at the heart of the murder. How did police get onto you?
I believe Sean spoke to a couple of different people, and it started going around the high school.
Running his mouth?
Mm-hmm. That's what I think.
Both Cheryl and Rob are brought in for questioning by police.
They started to get loud and get in my face and tell me that they knew that I shot Cheryl's father. I said, no, I didn't shoot Cheryl's father. And they said, well, prove to me that you didn't shoot him. I said, because I paid the guy who shot him.
You coughed it up?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, without having law and order on every half hour, every hour, I didn't know to ask for a lawyer. I was scared. I was 17. And I had 2 guys with guns yelling at me. So, yeah, I didn't know it was him, you know.
Did you tell them, the police, what your father had done to you?
Not initially. I would have kept that secret to my grave.
After that, they sat back and they knew that they had the case. And I said, whoa, 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 wait a second, guys. You don't know why. So let me explain to you why the man was killed. And then I was the one that told him Cheryl's secret.
Did they believe you?
They did. They were very good because they said to me, for a 42-year-old man that had a sick wife, that was never home for all those years, when they went through the house, they didn't find any Playboy magazines. When they investigated it for a week, he never had a girlfriend, never had a date. There was just too many odd things for a 42-year-old man never to be involved in any women.
Your dad was a cop. You could have gone to him and said, look, this is the situation. This guy is raping his daughter, my girlfriend. And he probably would have gotten something done about it.
In hindsight, that's probably what I should have done.
Instead, you took part in a contract killing.
I did, which I never thought was going to happen. I honestly didn't believe it was going to happen. And then when it did, now I knew I was in some pretty deep stuff.
You ultimately enter into a guilty plea.
I did. I did the wrong thing.
And how long did you spend in prison?
I wound up spending 3.5 months.
3.5 months?
Yes.
Do you still ask yourself why? Why did he do this to me?
Every day. Why couldn't he just be normal? Why couldn't he just be a normal parent? Or why couldn't God have taken him instead of my mother? Why did he make my mother sick?
For his part, Rob was sentenced to 5 years probation, but the triggerman, Sean Pica, would serve 16 years in prison. When you got out after 3.5 months, who was the first person you saw?
That was Rob.
He was waiting for you.
And my brother Jimmy.
But Cheryl's problems were just getting started. Outrageous headlines screamed across the New York tabloids, and many were outraged. Some claiming a 16-year-old daughter could mastermind her father's murder and be out in less than 4 months. While her older brother stood by her story of incest, her little sister Joanne didn't. Neither did her grandmother and aunt on her father's side, and that's where the courts sent her to live.
They sent me back to my aunt and grandmother's house, which was...
what was that like?
Talk about stressful.
To say the least.
I tried to, be with my sister, and she was angry with me, of course. She didn't understand She was only 8.
So your only two relatives, your father's sister and mother, did not believe your story?
No.
At just 16, Cheryl was in the eye of a hurricane of sensational headlines. And upon her release, she was hounded by reporters.
What was it like for you to face all those cameras, all those reporters, when you got out after 3 days?
They were not kind to me.
The tawdry tabloids had a field day.
You know, they would be yelling, "How many times a day did you have sex with your father?" Like they were asking me what flavor ice cream I was having for the day. It was just...
As if that wasn't enough, Cheryl was also carrying yet another secret, an unborn child.
Did you worry that it was your father's child?
I thought 100% it was my father's child. 100% I thought it was.
You lost the baby.
On purpose. Because I thought it was my father's. I miscarried on purpose. I was pushing something up there.
And it turns out the child was actually Rob's. You were 16.
Yeah, I was 16. Yeah.
Trying to cope with an unbearable situation.
And I was living at my aunt and grandmother's house, and that's all they kept saying was that I was pregnant, that I killed their son, their brother. It was a horrible, horrible environment to be in there.
Somehow, Cheryl and Rob remained together, their remarkable love enduring the turmoil of sexual abuse, murder, and incarceration. They've been married 28 years, raised 2 successful daughters, yet nearly lost it all when Rob was hit by a massive heart attack at the age of 44.
The whole story is just unbelievable.
You were dead.
I was dead.
Rob had no pulse for 43 minutes. Doctors were ready to give up when Cheryl pleaded with them to keep going.
And what did they do?
They said, "We'll give him 10 more minutes. We'll try for 10 more minutes, but after that, there's nothing else we could do."
They work on Rob for 10 more minutes. What happens?
After 8, he gets a pulse.
He's alive.
Barely, but he is. In that 8 minutes, my 2 daughters stand on each side of his bed and cheer him on and say, "Come on, Dad, you can do it. Wake up for us. You can do it, Dad. Don't leave us. We need you. Mom needs you."
Even when I wanted to give up, she wouldn't let me.
And today?
And today, you know, it's amazing. It really is that she was able to pay me back for everything that I did, and I wasn't looking for a payback.
Cheryl recently wrote a book of love, strength, and perseverance, titled Incest, Murder, and a Miracle. She and Rob are pictured holding hands on the cover.
That's why Cheryl put the cover of the book as us walking through that tunnel. No matter what happened before, you just persevere, you keep going, and you can make it.
I just want people to know that you could still have a good life. It's work and it's hard. It's an inspirational book. Like, we've had cancer patients read the book and say, "If you guys can go through all these things, then I could go through one more day of fighting cancer." Like, that's what we want you to know, that just because you've been kicked, you could still get up.
Do you blame her at all?
No. I did exactly what I set out to do.
How the former Boy Scout and son of an NYPD officer became an unlikely hitman, and does he now regret his decision?
Does that haunt you?